Thank you for tuning in to another video of Gregg Shorthand instruction. You remember last time I think we left off on I, and I wrote a number of words with I, and I told you I was going to come back and write those same words out on the lines so you can see how they should be written out on a tablet. Once in a while, though, I do like to kind of jump ahead and give a preview of some of the things we'll further be going into in detail in the future, just to keep you kind of interested and hanging on. I don't want you to just get bored with just the alphabet itself. If you notice here, and we're going to get to the alphabet of I in just a moment, if you notice in these words, these first two words start with circum, and the Gregg Shorthand author, John Robert Gregg, he's seen in our English language that there were a lot of words that had started with circum and also a lot of words that start with sub. So he made a way for that so it would be much more quicker when coming across words that actually start with circum and sub to write these word beginnings in a very quick way. And let me just show you that with these examples right here. Anytime you have a word that starts with circum, that is represented by a little s over the rest of the word. Now watch this. This is circumcision. See how quick that is. Now, I hope to write that bigger here in a moment so you can see it. But circum is just that little s. Incision is S-I-T-I-O-N. In this instance, it's S-I-O-N. If you remember, I told you that that stroke there, headed towards yourself, can actually be S-H-R-T-I-A-L or T-I-O-N, but it can also be S-I-O-N. Okay, let me get rid of that now right here. But circumcision, it's simply circumcision. See, I wrote a little bigger there for you. And I see my board here. I should have pretty well promised myself last time this happened I was going to clean it off real good. And I thought I had it cleaned off. Circumcision. It's that quick. Can you imagine writing that whole word with just those strokes? So any word, how about circumspect? Okay, let me write it on the line here. Circum, and that would be S-P-E-K, circumspect. Circum, S-P-E-K, circumspect. Isn't that quick? Okay, let me erase that there. And that is circumspect. It's that quick, folks. Circumspect. Okay, now let's look at the words here that begin with sub. And oh my, do we ever have a bunch of words in our English language that begin with sub. Look at the word subscription. The beginning here, sub and subdivision, when sub is the beginning of a word, we don't detach it like we did with circum. Like circumcision, we don't do it like that when it comes to the prefix of sub. Sub, let's look at the word subscription. It's simply subscription. Look how quick that is. Here's your sub, that's the first S, and scription, S-K-R-I-P-T-I-O-N, subscription. Okay, let's look at the word subdivision. Now, subdivision can be written two ways. I'm going to show you one way it can be written, and I'm going to show you the way that you're going to see it in the book. Okay, you can write sub, okay, division. You can write it like that, but in the book, it's going to show it like this. Watch this. Subdivision. That's the way it's going to show it, like that. Okay? I like to go by the book myself, but there are different ways sometimes that you can make allowances and still get the same sounds out by using the Gregg Shorthand Dictionary. So this would be subscription on the line. That's subscription. And this would be subdivision. Is that quick, folks? Is that quick? Okay. Let me write some of those words now that I covered in the alphabet of I. I wrote them out real quickly for you in the last video, and I'll tell you it's going to come back on the line so you'd see how they're written on the line. Then we'll go to J. We'll go to the alphabet of J. And by the way, whenever you have any word that begins with S-I-S, that sis sound, and shorthand, they just do it like that. They write two S's. They write an S one way and an S the other. For instance, the word system, and I know that's not the alphabet of I, I'm just throwing this in. The word system. To get that S-Y-S sound, it's just S-S-T-E-M. That's system. And of course, on the line, it would be like this. It would be S-S-T-E-M. And we're going to be getting into T-E-M, D-A-M, D-I-M, T-I-M, because just like this can be four different word beginnings that I've covered in another video, this here can be 4 or 5 different word beginnings. Okay? I know it seems like at first there's so much to remember, but you got to remember all fields of knowledge, especially math. Once you get into math, I had a buddy that was a pharmacist, and he almost dropped out because of trigonometry. He just couldn't hardly understand it. Now, folks, when it comes to math and learning math all the way through calculus, now if you think this is a lot to remember to learn Gregg Shorthand, oh my, you wouldn't feel like this is nothing if you to get to calculus. And just when I think of the different types of trigonometry alone, and you need that plus algebra and some geometry before you can get to calculus. So you have to have a lot committed to memory to get that far in math. So this is just like another field of knowledge. There's more to it than what people think. But once you learn it, oh my, the speed you can go and the way you can enjoy this great academic discipline. Okay, if you remember, I gave you a bunch of words that begin with I a while ago, but I didn't write them on the line. The word eyesore, that would be I, okay, and S-O-R, eyesore, okay. I, like the I that you see with, and I covered a phrase, I cannot. That would be I can not. In Gregg Shorthand, the word can is simply written by a K. And the word not is simply written by an N. Okay? Let's look at, okay, that's I cannot. I saw I. How about I will not? I, okay. Will, there's your L, and there's your N. I will not. And if we wanted to add be able, just come on down with the B and put an A there, okay? And in Gregg Shorthand books, published books, you'll see all kinds of phrases that they give the Gregg Shorthand student. And I realize that the word able can be written out A-B-L like that. But when you write in these brief forms of phrases, you don't have to write out the whole word. And that is the advantage of brief forms. I've noticed on the videos that I've been posting, some of those latter videos, I've only had a few people that apparently have watched them, and I'm just wondering, as people are seeing that that there's a little bit of stuff that you have to remember in Gregg Shorthand to master it, when they see that there's more to it than what they thought, I got to thinking some people might be getting discouraged, and they're just kind of dropping off, and they're not as interested as they thought they would be. Well, you know, I used to love math when I was in school, but boy, when I got to algebra, because I had an algebra teacher that simply did not give me some things that I know now that I really needed to know then. Had he been a little bit more explanative with it and helped me with my algebra. In fact, I even went to the principal on my algebra teacher because I didn't think he was a good teacher, but I could have possibly got more interested in it. And just like when I got to algebra, I seen there was more to math than what I thought. And all of a sudden, I lost interest in math when I was in high school. But now, of course, I love it. But and that's the way any field of knowledge is. I remember when I first got my first Gregg Shorthand dictionary, when I seen just how it didn't even favor our language, I thought this is like learning a foreign language. And for about 2 years, like I've told you before, I laid that book on the shelf. I kind of lost interest in it. Let's look at some other words. The word island, you draw a line. It's just simply the I and the L-A-N-D, island. iTunes is just the I-T-U-N-S, okay? iTunes. Now, internet would be internet. It's that quick. Remember, that's the enter. Any word that begins with enter. But now, itinerant would be like this. There's your itinerant. Itinerant. Once again, I know that you're sick and tired of hearing this probably, but when you're writing from a slant, it's just a little harder. I'd love to write this a whole lot more nice and neat, but I'm over here and trying to stay out of the way of the camera. I'd like to be way over here. But as long as you know what's going on here, because you can practice on your tablet. The word ivy, I-V-Y, you can now bring it down just IV. Or you could put the E on it, IV, okay? And icy.
I-C-E-E. That would just be an I and an S and an E. Icy. And we're going to go to J in a moment, and J is from top to bottom, if you remember, between the lines. But there is a exception to that rule even. If you're writing the word judge, the J comes a little bit above the top line. You're writing judgment, it's just JM, okay? A lot of words that end with M-E-N-T will just be ending with an M, such as department, okay? Now, let's look at a few more of these words in I. And then we're going to go to J. And we're running out of time. I gave you the word Iconium. That would simply be I, okay? K-O-N-E-U-M, Iconium. Now on a tablet, that would only be about maybe this long. You just make those strokes so quickly with a pen. But teaching you, I do want to go slow enough and I want to write it big enough so that you can see it, okay? Icon, just I-K-O-N, icon. Eiffel Tower would be I-F-E-L, okay, Eiffel, T-A-U-R, tower, sour, S-A-U-R. Now the word hour, or hour, in Gregg Shorthand is simply an R. Okay? Let me throw in a sentence here. Since we don't have much time to finish anymore with the I think I've showed you enough on I. We're going to be going to J, but since we don't have enough time because it's almost 14 minutes, let me just give you a quick sentence. Yesterday, I went to the store. Okay, see how quick that is? Oh, folks, you can't beat it when it comes to writing. You cannot beat it.